This world didn't just try to break you, it hired assassins. It recruited demons in daylight suits. It strategized your downfall like a military operation. Covert, relentless, surgical. You think your failures are accidents? You think your pain was random? No, it was orchestrated. It was intentional. You were marked, targeted. Somewhere, somehow, someone saw the fire in you and they couldn't stand it. So they came. Quietly, systematically. They disguised themselves as friends, as comfort, as safety nets. But they were hitmen. Sent to bleed you dry without leaving a mark. And you let them get close. Let's stop pretending this isn't a damn fairy tale. This isn't some feel-good story with a guaranteed happy ending. This is war. You're on a battlefield and most of you are asleep in the trenches, hugging your excuses like they'll protect you from the incoming fire. You're not broken. Prove it. You're strong. Then why are you still sitting in the ruins like you belong there? Wake up. This is your wake-up call. You're not tired. You're wounded. You're not unmotivated. You've been poisoned. Fed lie after lie until your ambition got buried under a mountain of comfort and compromise. They tricked you into thinking this slow decay was peace. They handed you a dull knife and told you to call it a crown. And you accepted it. You played nice while the wolves were feasting on your future. You smiled while they dismantled your potential, and you believed it was normal. But let's get real. You're not weak because you lost. You're weak because you refused to fight. You let time pass like you had an eternity. You let comfort creep in like it was your savior, not the silent executioner that it is. You let the enemy feed you sedatives, not bullets. And now you're confused why you're asleep while your destiny burns. Here's what they never told you. They didn't want to kill you quickly. That would have been mercy. They wanted to erase you quietly, make you irrelevant, make you forgettable. They wanted to bury your spirit while your body kept walking. Breathing, existing, but never living. That's their victory, not your death, but your mediocrity. And guess what? You're still here. They threw everything at you: debt, heartbreak, shame, rejection, fake friends, betrayal. They sent it all. And you're still standing, bleeding, maybe. But you did not fall. So now the question isn't whether you can survive. You already did. The question is, are you ready to counterattack? Because if you're not, then you're part of the plan. A cog in their machine. A pawn in their twisted game. But if you're ready, if you're done playing the victim, then it's time to strip off the mask. Burn the comfort. Kill the hesitation. This is not about motivation. Motivation is weak. This is about reclamation. Taking back every stolen piece of you. Every dream they mocked. Every step they sabotaged. Every second they made you doubt yourself. You don't need permission, you need rage. You need clarity. You need war paint on your face and blood in your mouth, ready to scream back at every damn thing that tried to silence you. Because the hitmen didn't break you, they woke you up. They made a mistake. They left you breathing. And now you burn everything that held you down. This is your war cry. This is your first shot back. Let them hear it. Let them feel it. Let them know you were the wrong target. They told you it's okay to be where you are. They told you to love yourself as you are. They told you You're doing your best. They said, take your time. Rest is important. You deserve to relax. Lies. All of it. Beautiful poison wrapped in soft tones. Whispers meant to rock you. To sleep while your life burns around you. They don't want you to rise, they want you comfortable. And comfort, my friend, is a weapon disguised as kindness. They gave you a grave and called it a home. They gave you sedation and called it peace. And the worst part? You believed them. You swallowed it whole because it felt safe. Because it took away the pressure. Because it removed the mirror. Because in that moment of weakness, that lie tasted better than the raw truth. Here's the real truth. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not lost. You're avoiding. You're not still figuring it out. You're just stalling. You're not overwhelmed. You're lazy, and it's not because you're incapable. It's because you've built your entire identity around survival, not domination. You've made peace with average. You've romanticized mediocrity. You've put glitter on failure and called it self-care. Enough. You think the world owes you something because you tried. You think effort alone is currency. You think breathing is enough to deserve a crown. No one cares how hard it's been. No one is handing out gold medals for surviving. Survival is the entry fee, not the prize. And yet you wear your pain like armor, hoping it'll excuse your inaction. You drag your trauma behind you like a shield, thinking it makes you untouchable. It doesn't. It makes you weak if you let it define you. You believed that healing meant halting, that growth meant waiting, that success would find you if you just stayed positive. But reality doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. And guess what? You haven't delivered. You've had the time, you've had the tools, you've had the warnings. But instead of moving, you rationalized, you built palaces out of excuses. And every day you stayed in them, the walls got higher. Now you can't see the truth outside. Now you live inside the lie. Here's what they won't say out loud. You're not overwhelmed by your potential. You're terrified of what it will cost to reach it. Because it'll mean killing the version of you that's soft. It'll mean burying the version of you that seeks applause instead of domination. It'll mean becoming violent with your own complacency. And that terrifies you because if you tried, really tried, and still failed, then what? So instead, you don't try at all. You stay in between. Not broken, not built. Not rising, not dying. Just existing in the purgatory of almost. And you call that strategy. You call that healing. You call that life. It's not. It's spiritual. Suicide. It's death by comfort. It's the slow murder of your potential, drip by drip. You want truth? Here it is. Every day you wake up and don't act. Every time you choose to scroll instead of build. Every time you choose to talk instead of execute. Every time you post instead of perform. You are reinforcing the lie. You are feeding the enemy. You are dressing the hitmen. You are arming the sabotage with your own damn hands. And still, you cry for motivation. Motivation is for the weak, the wounded, the ones still waiting for someone else to save them. What you need is war, internal, daily, violent. A war against the lie that tells you you're not ready. A war against the voice that tells you next week. A war against the illusion that there's still time. There's not. There's urgency. There's pressure. There's fire in your lungs, and blood on your hands and no cavalry coming. You've been tricked into thinking healing must always be soft. But sometimes healing is brutal. Sometimes healing is ripping out the infection with your bare hands and screaming through the pain until the bleeding stops. You want to change your life? Stop waiting to feel like it. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for signs and signals and synchronicity. They're not coming. Only pain is coming. Only regret is coming. Only the bitter truth is waiting for you unless you break the damn lie. You're not stuck, you're not broken, you're not unworthy. You're just addicted to the excuse. High on the lie that tells you you're doing enough. You're not, and deep down you know it. So let me rip the band-aid off. You are behind. You are wasting time. You are not operating at your highest level. You are not hungry enough. If that pisses you off, good. Let it. Because only the enraged evolve. Only the ashamed rise. Only the ones who hate the lie enough to kill it daily ever make it out alive. Burn the lie. Starve it. Choke it until it dies screaming. Because if you don't, it will kill your future. And you'll thank it while it does. This is where the cowards leave. This is where the fakes look away. Because the truth doesn't come with a pillow. It comes with a sledgehammer. You've been told life is fair. You've been told it'll work out. You've been told the universe will align if you just stay high vibe long enough. Bullshit. The truth? Nobody is coming to save you. No one. Not your parents. Not your partner. Not your friends. Not some goddamn higher power. They're not coming, and most of them aren't even watching. You were sold a fairy tale, and while you slept, the wolves came. You believed if you just waited, the pain would pass. It didn't. It grew teeth. It evolved. It learned your name, your patterns, your fears, and now it owns you. You think you're unlucky. You think, life's been unfair? Of course it has, but guess what? It's supposed to be. This world was not built for your feelings. It was built to crush the weak, elevate the relentless, and reward the brutal. So here's the raw truth. You're not behind because life is unfair. You're behind because you hesitated. You flinched. You paused when the war demanded forward motion. You had momentum. You let it rot. You had clarity. You drowned it in distraction. You had strength. But you sold it to weakness because it was easier. This is what they won't say on your favorite podcast. This is what your therapist can't scream at you. This is what your fake friends won't admit. You're not being tested. You're being exposed. Every moment you fail to act is a confession. Every second wasted in silence screams, I'm afraid of what I could become. And you should be. Because real power isn't pretty. It's not peaceful. It's not a spa day and a vision board. It's violence against everything that holds you down. It's burning your old self alive. It's ripping apart the comfort you've wrapped around your throat like a silk noose. You want to win. You want to conquer. You want to stand on the ashes of your excuses. Then stop running from this truth. You are the only reason you are not who you were born to be. It's not your past. It's not the trauma. It's not the people who doubted you. It's not your circumstances. It's not luck or timing or fate. It's you, your choices, your habits, your hesitation, your weakness masquerading as logic. You've spent years building an empire of excuses, and now you sit in the ruins wondering why the kingdom never rose. Because you never built it. You just dreamed it, talked about it, posted about it, prayed it into existence like that would make it real. It won't. The only language this universe understands is violence and volume, relentless action, repeated domination, sacrifice, discipline, ruthlessness. You don't need more information. You don't need a new morning routine. You don't need another book, another quote, another YouTube video telling you you're already enough. You need to get angry. You need to bleed. You need to go to war with the weaker version of you and bury them so deep they'll never crawl back up again. Because until that happens, you're just another liar in the mirror, saying the right things, but doing nothing. Here's another bitter pill. Your future doesn't care how much potential you had. It only cares what you did with it. And right now, you're wasting it. There are people with half your talent outworking you. There are people with none of your blessings lapping you in silence. There are people who were broken, beaten, forgotten, and they're winning because they chose to stop whining and start swinging. That's the truth. Talent without execution is just vanity. Ambition without discipline is masturbation. Dreams without suffering are delusions. You want to be great? Then suffer for it, bleed for it, cry for it, crawl through the damn dirt for it if you have to. Because if you're not willing to hurt, you don't deserve to have. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly pushed yourself? Not just got tired, not just got a little sore. I'm talking about the kind of pain that changes you. The kind of grind that leaves scars. The kind of fight that reshapes your DNA. If the answer is never, then you haven't even begun your journey. You've been walking in circles, decorating your cage, calling it progress because the bars are golden. But gold is still a prison, and comfort is still the enemy. Here's the final truth. You will never have the life you want if you keep protecting the version of you that's afraid to earn it. So kill that version, starve it, bury it, and spit on its grave. Because the world doesn't need another almost was. It doesn't need another potential-filled corpse. It needs warriors, savages, relentless, dangerous, focused killers of weakness. Be that. You think this is hard now? You think doing the work is painful? You think pushing yourself hurts? Let me show you what real pain looks like. Regret. Not the shallow kind. The deep, bone-rotting kind. The kind that eats you alive at 3 a.m. while you stare at the ceiling, knowing you had the chance, and you fumbled it. You want to see hell? It's not fire, it's not demons. It's waking up one day and realizing you could have been a monster, but you chose to be a memory. Let me be crystal clear. Weakness is a death sentence. Not always fast, not always loud, but always fatal. Every time you avoid pain now, every time you choose comfort, every time you let fear make the decision, you are building your future prison with your own damn hands. Let me show you what happens when you don't evolve. You lose respect. First, from others. Then, from yourself, people start talking to you like you're fragile, like you're incapable, like your words don't mean anything. Because guess what? They don't. You said you were gonna start. You said you were gonna rise. You said this was your year, and you lied again and again and again. And people watched. The respect drained. The trust vanished. The belief died. And now you can't even look in the mirror without flinching, because you know you're still wearing the mask of a warrior. But behind it, there's a ghost. You lose time. The seconds, the hours, the days, they don't wait. They don't care how tired you are. They don't care how scared you feel. They don't care what you've been through. Time is a blade. If you don't wield it, it cuts you down. You think you have time to figure it out? Let me break your delusion. You are running out. You wasted your 20s trying to feel ready. You wasted your 30s numbing your fire. You're halfway to the grave and still waiting for the sign. It already came. It was the pain. It was the emptiness. It was the sleepless nights when your soul screamed at you to move. But you ignored it. You fed it silence. And now the clock is mocking you. Every tick is a bullet. Every minute is a chance you'll never get back. You lose your edge. And once it's gone, good luck getting it back. You stop believing in war. You stop believing in battle. You stop believing in yourself. Because weakness doesn't just drain your body. It corrupts your spirit. You start talking like the broken, moving like the scared, thinking like the defeated, and that fire you once had, it doesn't roar anymore. It whispers, barely there, begging for oxygen, but you keep smothering it with distraction, with fake progress, with dopamine and denial, until it dies. And now, you're walking the earth with no purpose, no rage, no hunger, just a broken compass and a head full of what if. You lose your future. Let's talk real consequences. That body you wanted? Gone. The one that turns heads, commands presence, moves through the world like a weapon? You'll never see it. Because comfort was more important than consistency. That business you dreamed of, buried. Someone else built it. While you were overthinking and doubting, they executed. That legacy you swore you'd leave behind, erased, because you never got serious. You flirted with greatness like it was a game. And now, your name means nothing. Your impact is non-existent. Your voice is just noise in the wind. You lose the war before it even starts. Understand this. Life is a battlefield. It doesn't wait for you to feel good. It doesn't pause because you're tired. It doesn't care about your intentions. It only cares about results. You don't rise by chance. You rise by force. You rise by suffering. You rise by refusing to die quietly. But if you keep bowing to weakness, if you keep listening to that inner coward, if you keep surrendering to distraction and delay, you won't just lose. You'll be forgotten. And that's the final consequence. You fade, slowly, quietly, painlessly at first, until one day you realize no one's waiting for your comeback, no one's looking for your potential, no one cares anymore. Because the world gave you a window, and you slammed it shut with your own indecision. You don't get that window again, you don't get that moment twice. You either move when the fire hits, or you sit in the ash wondering where it all went. So what now? You think you still have time? Keep thinking. Keep waiting. Keep hiding. And watch what happens. Watch your future rot. Watch your dreams die. Watch your potential mock you in your final breath. The consequence of weakness is not just missing success. It's becoming the exact person you once swore you'd never be. Mediocre, invisible, weak, regretful, dead before you're dead. And if that doesn't terrify you, then you're already gone. Now that everything's dead, Now that your excuses are 6 feet under. Now that we've burned down your comfort and shattered the mirror of lies. You're ready. This is the moment you've never truly had. The moment where everything is stripped. No crowd, no applause, no comfort. Just you. Raw. Exposed. Dangerous. Because now you finally see what you are. Not a victim, not a failure, not some broken toy for life to kick around. You are war. The weak version of you didn't survive this far. The soft voice inside you, we silenced it with fire. So let's begin again. Not as the version of you that wanted, not the version that wished, but the version that takes. This is not a comeback. This is a reintroduction. You rise when you stop negotiating with pain. You rise when you start laughing in the face of pressure. You rise when you stop needing reasons and start becoming the reason. You don't ask the world for permission. You rip the door off its hinges and say, "I'm here, move." This isn't motivation. This is activation. You've sat still for too long. You've walked the line between survival and sedation. Now it's time to step into the arena. No more self-help. No more fake optimism. No more vision boards and half-assed effort. This is where the killer emerges. The version of you who doesn't wait for the alarm to scream. He's already up, already moving, already hungry. The version of you who doesn't try, he executes, period. The version of you who feels fear and walks straight through it like it's made of fog. You don't need peace, you need war. Because war reveals who you really are, and who you are is unfinished business. You rise when you stop identifying with your past and start fighting for your future. You are not what happened to you. You are not the pain you felt. You are not the betrayal, the trauma, the rejection. You are what you decide to become after it. The world tried to bury you. Let them regret not finishing the job. Every scar, that's a medal. Every failure, that's a lesson tattooed on your bones. Every moment you broke, but stood back up, that was you, becoming something darker, something stronger. And now the leash is off. No more guilt, no more shame, no more dragging the corpse of your past around like it defines you. It's dead. You're not. So move like it. Act like it. Rise like it. You rise when discipline becomes your oxygen. No more motivation. That's for tourists. You move regardless. You bleed regardless. You build regardless. You rise when you wake up tired, but train anyway. When you feel fear, but step forward anyway. When your mind screams stop and your soul whispers again. That's what separates the remembered from the forgotten. Not talent, not luck, but a violent obsession with never staying the same. Let them sleep, let them party, let them take breaks. You're at war, and warriors don't ask for naps, they build empires with their blood. You rise when you accept that pain is not punishment. Pain is payment. You want growth? Pay in pain. You want power? Pay in pain. You want freedom? Pay in pain. Pain is the currency of transformation. You earn greatness with your suffering. You don't run from it. You hunt it. When you hurt, when it burns, when everything screams for you to quit, that's the door. That's the gate to your next level, and most will run from it, but not you. You'll run through it, because now you understand. The goal is not to feel better. The goal is to become better. You rise when silence becomes your weapon. You don't need to broadcast your grind. You don't need to tweet your struggle. You don't need to convince anyone you're coming back. You just shut up and work. You disappear. You train. You build. And one day, you show up so transformed, they think you're a different breed. Because you are, you're not part of the crowd anymore. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You don't need good job or you're enough. You are not enough, and that's exactly why you're dangerous. Because you're never satisfied. Because you never stop. Because you rise every day with one goal: to bury who you were yesterday. You rise when you become unreasonable. No more limits, no more ceilings, no more excuses. You want something impossible? Good. Want something that scares you? Perfect. Want to do what no one in your bloodline has done before? Then act like it. Burn your comfort. Destroy the plan B, starve your doubts, and move like you've got nothing to lose but your old identity. Because you do. You rise when you finally say it out loud. I don't care what they think. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to win. You don't rise to fit in. You rise to lead, to dominate, to destroy every limit they ever tried to place on your name. They doubted you. Good. Let their doubt be your gasoline. Let their silence be your war drum. You are not like them. You never were. You were made for more. Made for war. Made to rise from the ashes they left you in. Now it's time to become that beast. You have nothing left to wait for. No one left to blame. No comfort left to hide in. You've been broken. You've been tested. And now, you rise. Not gently, not politely, but like the fire they prayed would never come back. The room was quiet. Too quiet. That kind of silence that follows after the last breath, after the final move on a chessboard, when the king tips, not from defeat, but inevitability. Detective Marlowe lit a cigarette with a hand that didn't shake anymore. The storm outside had passed. The thunder inside him hadn't. Across the desk, sitting with a face that had finally run out of lies, was Evelyn Cross, the socialite, the victim's best friend, the grieving angel with tears that smelled like roses and secrets. You always knew, didn't you? She said softly. Marlowe exhaled smoke like an executioner's sigh. No, he said. I suspected, but suspicion's just a loaded gun with the safety still on. I needed proof, and you gave it to me. Her smile cracked just slightly. The perfect porcelain face fractured under the weight of truth. The clues had been there, all of them. The smear of lipstick on the wine glass, wrong shade. The missing brooch, returned too clean. The way she cried, not for the man who died, but for the plan that failed. Evelyn Cross had always played roles: mourner, lover, widow-to-be, but the one she couldn't play was innocent. She would have married him, Marlowe said, voice low, inherited everything. If he hadn't changed the will 3 days before, he died. Evelyn didn't deny it. because the will was the last card, and Marlowe found it, hidden in the antique desk drawer, beneath false-bottomed velvet, right where she thought no one would look. But he wasn't no one. He was the man who stared too long, listened too deep, dug too far. It was always about the money, he asked. Evelyn laughed, dry, bitter, elegant. No, detective, it was about not being forgotten. He was going to marry someone else. After everything I gave up, he was going to erase me. I didn't kill him for greed, I killed him for memory. That's the same thing, Marlowe said. You just used a better word. There had been others in the shadows, the bodyguard who swore he heard nothing, the maid who lied about the time, the cousin who hated him too. Red herrings, noise, camouflage. But Marlowe followed the thread, and it always wound back to Evelyn. She'd made one mistake. She thought control was the same as power. She thought beauty was a shield. She thought grief could be choreographed. But grief is messy, ugly, real. And Evelyn had been too perfect. Marlowe stood. You're not going to run? She tilted her head. Where would I go? I'm tired, detective. Let the truth be the last thing I wear. He nodded. Outside, the sirens were getting closer. Justice was never loud. It didn't kick in doors with music playing. In the background, it whispered, it walked slow, it knocked and waited. Marlowe walked out of the house with his coat pulled high, the rain washing smoke and sins from his skin. Another case closed, another lie unraveled, another mask removed. And still, the city didn't change. But maybe he did. Just a little. He didn't believe in happy endings, but he believed in truth, and tonight that was enough.